We're green in Sonoma. Ty Gibbs getting after it out front with Carson Hocevar. Clean through turn 2, 77. Hocevar jumps to the race lead.
SVG on the outside of Larson down into turn 4. SVG down to the inside here, just trying to get back in line. Battle for the lead up front, side by side. They're going to argue through the S's here.
There will be a lot of arguing throughout the day for position. Give it to Ty Gibbs.
Such a tricky corner right here. Really, really fast into turn 10 for the first time. McDowell right there to make a move on the 77 here, entering turn 11.
Teammates for Spire. Great in qualifying yesterday. McDowell tremendous on the road up to second.
Little contact with Joe Logano and the 16 of AJ Allmendinger down into turn 11. Denny to the inside of Logano up the hill here. Boy, that's tight right there.
Inside turn 1, put you outside at turn 2.
Denny's going to get the acceleration out of the corner of 22 all over the curve, gets a little bit loose in drive there.
You know, Denny's been deflecting both the battle with Reddick and the battle with Ty Dillon in the in-season tournament, but I believe he's put more effort than he wants to let on into this road course. As that 11 looks good, and now we see McDowell to the rear bumper of the 54 of Ty Gibbs. A bit of a dive bomb by Allmendinger. It's going to work out against Chastain.
Larson out of line, getting a spot from Hocevar.
Hocevar
and SVG coming with him.
Yeah, he's going to lose another spot there. There's Chastain in the one side by side with AJ. Two hard heads going through the S's side by side.
You said they argue. That might be a shouting match between those two coming through the S's.
They're still fighting. It's going to be a tough spot for the one to keep around the outside of turn 10, but here they go down into the braking zone of turn 11.
I might close my eyes here. 16 comes through. Allmendinger gets the spot. Chase Briscoe is right there. Hamlin right behind him.
Chastain's going to fall in line there right in front of Briscoe.
McDowell staying connected with Gibbs out front, and SVG right in the hip pocket of number 5, Kyle Larson.
He's got his hands full right now trying to keep SVG behind him. SVG may go to the inside here in the braking zone. He's going to wait, try to set this pass up for turn 7. He's right there. Yeah, he's close enough for a dive into turn 7. Larson's going to fight, though, on the outside. Larson with a car length here. Not so easy, SVG.
It's our HBO Max onboard camera watching one of the best all-time work. Number 97, Shane Van Gisbergen, riding 4th right now after qualifying 6th yesterday.
Yeah, these are some of the busiest feet in the series. You're going to watch him, unlike most, use his left foot on the clutch, a right foot breaker. Most drivers, really all drivers in the field, don't use the clutch on downshifts. It's unnecessary mechanically. SVG does. It's from driving those V8 supercars. There's a lot of conversation about how big of an advantage it is. I think the truth is we'll never know because SVG's not going to tell us.
What's going on with Kyle Larson, Danielle?
Well, I talked to him this morning, Adam. He said in practice, the car felt like it was driving on ice, super slick through turns 1 through 4. So he said, I have to be careful during that session. But overall, I just need to do a better job being smooth. I watched film of SVG winning this race here last year, and he's just so smooth. I'm trying to replicate that smoothness. I did change my approach yesterday in practice. After watching SVG, I'm trying to recreate his line around this road course. Larson's a 2-time winner here, Adam, but never stops studying to get better.
And he's going to school right now, trying to keep SVG behind him. Quite a project.
Yeah, he's done a good job the last lap here. Put a little bit of room between him and the 97. 2 and 38 on the racetrack. Had a little contact a moment ago. This is coming out of turn 4. Little arguing there again. We're going to see that all day long. Looks like the 3 as well, the 35 of Riley Herbst. It's pretty aggressive back in the pack because you're always compromised side by side here with the 19 and 77 of Hocevar. Hocevar has to stop losing positions. He's going to get harder and harder pass, argue with these guys. He doesn't want to lose too much track position here.
One conversation all weekend long, these Goodyear tires have a memory. And if you abuse them, they lose some potential. You have to ask, did the 77 slide some tires early? And is he paying the penalty now later in the run?
Ty Gibbs started on the pole. He's led them all, leading laps at Sonoma for the first time in his career. McDowell, SVG to third. Larson, Allmendinger, your top 5 on TNT. Go inside the race with NASCAR Driver Cam, presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Access every in-car camera with driver data, multi-view, full team audio, and more. Watch NASCAR Driver Cam all season long only on HBO Max. Trimble onboard camera, look into the eyes of Chris Buescher. Good on the road. Driver 17, currently 17th in the running order. Saw it side by side, a change for 4th while we were away. A.J. Allmendinger able to get around Kyle Larson.
Take a look at how it happened here. Down in a deep braking zone, turn 11. Look at the 16 spinning out almost into the corner. Uses the 5 to make the turn. 8 tires stick better than 4 in that case.
I think there was an elbow stuck out there as he came through.
I watched AJ all weekend in practice, and man, the back of that car was so out of shape in all his braking zones. We watch a lot of action happening back here. Byron trying to get around the 22 of Logano. Byron was quick in practice, trying to drive through the field here. Going to try to take this spot away.
When you see the traffic stacked up behind the 77, when you look out in front of the 77, there's really clear track. I mean, and behind him, It is rush hour. Christopher Bell, the first in line to go by.
Yeah, see, Bell had a little challenge on the racetrack. Let's take a look here. Up the hill, the 77, getting into the back bumper. Wow. Holy moly.
Good night.
You know, it's just a corner. You're heading up the hill, and that's just not something that you need to be doing. And, you know, turning somebody sideways in such a high-speed corner of the racetrack, I don't know, that's just probably a mistake. I don't know if the 20 may have gotten into the 77 at some point a lap before to create some frustration there, but
well, like most good hockey fights, you normally see the gloves come off. You don't see the 4 or 5 minutes leading up to it. You just wonder with the 20 of Bell if he can get back to the rear bumper of the 77. Was there some frustration, or did he make a mistake and kind of get checked up?
We didn't see a lot of cars get loose in that part of the racetrack through turn 1 in practice.
Almost been an odd weekend for that. Like, I found the balance of this track being pretty, you know, the corners at least being pretty consistent which ones you fight. But this week, turns 1, 3 to 3, uphill airs look lower on rear grip than what I expect.
Let's get an update. Shane Van Gisbergen settled into third so far, Marty.
Just a handful of laps in as we ride on board with Shane Van Gisbergen and the HBO Max camera. And he a moment ago said, quote, "We are not good." And Steve, the diagnosis later from SVG was we are too tight in the slow corners and too free on entry pretty much everywhere else. Stephen Doran made a ton of changes, way more than they normally make at a road course this morning to this 97 car, but early reports that the 97 driver is not very happy. But how do you fix that when you have kind of both sides of the coin when it comes to handling, Steve?
Well, I think it starts with being too tight. The front tires have to track where the driver wants to go. He has a pedal to fix the rear tires. That's going to be on him. But when he turns that steering wheel, those front tires need to react. The car needs to track. That's what I would attack. Lean on that expertise, that egg under that throttle pedal. Test his talent.
They kind of did this last week, opened the race, not handling well at all, really complaining a lot about the car, and they made the adjustments necessary. He was super pleased with the race car in stage 2, so the chance they can get this thing turned around and get that car heading in the right direction.
You see the numbers on Ty Gibbs, really good on the road lately, leading today. Shannon, what's the story there?
He sure is. I talked to Tyler Allen, his crew chief, before the race. He told me he really felt like they had a complete car, obviously super fast in qualifying and really good in practice as well. He said managing tires, #1 thing for Ty Gibbs. And guys, they reminded him about that even before we took the green flag. He said, play the long game. He said, let the rest of those guys burn up their tires. You be smart. And even when he was under attack by Carson Hocevar, the word over the radio was our race. Just remember to be smart.
So many ingredients that will equal success when it comes to road course racing at NASCAR's top level. Look at this gaggle of cars just fighting everywhere.
Yeah, right now everybody for the most part playing pretty nice. I mean, we've seen a little bit of contact here and there, but that's going to go out the window here as we get through the first couple of stages in this race. You'll see a lot of contact up here in the top of turn 2 during moments like this.
How cool is this track elevation riding with Suarez to the top of the hill?
Well, it's a climb up to about 160 plus feet, but you also go down into turn 3. So you drive up into 2, down in 3, back up to 3B, down into turn 4. So it's like a roller coaster. And you really load the race car into the banking, and then you spin the rear tires up over the top of these hills. So hard to get the power down. Right here, you hear the short shift that Daniel does there. He could stay in that gear, but it just spin the rear tires to the S's. So he short shifts to another gear to really try to get some traction. Look at this rear spin right there. The tire's just spinning over the hill into turn 10.
By the way, we're measuring that elevation change, putting the start-finish line at 0. So you will see some negative numbers as they come down to turn 11 here. And Bubba Wallace.
Oh, little contact.
The crash yesterday in qualifying didn't go to a backup car. They repaired it. He's working his way through the field up to 24th.
Take a look right here, the 5 to 16 AJ, and I think AJ pulled over to let Larson go? Let's take a look. Let's listen. Yeah, he just pulled over. I think that he's starting to struggle balance-wise. And so he's like, hey, man, I'm going to let this car go. I'm going to get into a pace I'm comfortable with.
We showed you the 20 and 77 have contact into turn 1. This is the 20 and the 77 in turn 11. That looks pretty clean to me. I thought there was contact. I don't see it the same way. I think that was just a good pass from the 20 and the 77.
Bell off to a good start. That broken wrist. Qualified 14th, up to 9th in the running order. His teammate leads. It's Ty Gibbs out front of McDowell, Van Gisbergen, Larson, and Allmendinger. Halfway through stage 1 in the Toyota Mart 350. Just over 10 laps to go, stage 1. Live in Sonoma, California on TNT. There you see the top 5. Shane Van Gisbergen now up to the 2nd spot behind Ty Gibbs, who's led every lap so far from the pole. And we have a taker on the pit lane. Daniel Suarez in. Marty Snyder.
Unscheduled for Daniel Suarez. He has a tire going down, he thinks. They debated for a moment, hey, do you want us to pit or you want me to try and let this thing live? What do you want me to do? They decided to pit, so they bring him down pit road here. 11 to go. Really can't connect it from anything here, Steve, strategy-wise, but they had to get that Goodyear tire off.
Well, and the big concern in the garage area this morning was only 4 sets of sticker tires in your pits. So I had multiple crew chiefs say if you have a flat or spin out in stage 1, you are perhaps handcuffed for the rest of the day on being straightforward and not being very creative. So now we have Suarez leaving pit road, the Bleacher Report onboard camera climbing up into turn 2. As Marty says, can't connect it, meaning running long into the next stage. So just an unfortunate turn of events for the 7 as we see them march for the 19 of Chase Briscoe continues. Car looked good in practice.
Good start to the day for Joe Gibbs Racing. All 4 of their Toyotas inside the top 8, 2 in the top 5, including the leader.
It's interesting to have an issue with the 7 car, the tire issue. We saw the 77 into turn 11 have a big lockup on the right front. We're hearing there might have been a lockup as well on the 71 of McDowell. All them teammates at Spire maybe having a little bit of a, some flat spotting issues or flat spot potential as the race goes on. That's one of the things that can bite you here in the 3 heavy braking zones is sliding the tire. Once you slide it and flat spot it, it finds that flat spot in the next braking zone for the rest of the run, and you continue to make that flat spot worse and worse before you need to come to pit road and change tires.
That 11 car up to 6th is definitely going a different direction than he led on, moving his way towards the front.
And their confidence level coming into the day was on the long haul, so it may just continue to get better and better. Teammate impressive too. Here's Bell getting another one.
Yeah, the 45 of Reddick is going the other direction. He's not gained spots, struggling back there in the backside of the top 20. At a racetrack where we expected the 45 to defend for, to race for victory or challenge for victory.
What do you think about this summer run for Hamlin in erasing that enormous deficit from first to second in the standings, and how big that is when you think about the reset and you see what's happened to Reddick today? We told the story for Hamlin moving up. It's been so interesting to watch the dynamic of these two race teams.
What's wild is how good the 2311 cars were last week at the road course in San Diego. Just phenomenal speed across the entire organization. But today they look more normal, more average across the field. So we'll have to see how the day unfolds. Good battle right here.
Chastain qualified inside the top 10, has finished top 10 the last 2 weeks, but he's got company there with Blaney right behind him.
And we give a lot of flowers to SVG, what he's able to do in that 97, but I think, or at least I overlook what he brings to that entire organization. The one of Ross Chastain has definitely improved on the road courses, having SVG as a teammate. Here comes the 12 of Blaney trying to get that spot back. Byron going to try to follow him through.
Hocevar seems to have leveled off. Blaney was quick in practice. As I mentioned earlier, the 24 as well. Chase Elliott back there. They're trying to get these spots, get around this one car. You see the one car of Chastain struggling. You try your hardest to make that pass as quick as possible before you become, get pressure from behind. If you don't make that pass quickly, then you become somebody that's on the defense.
AJ Allmendinger back in the 8th spot. Let's get 16 team radio.
I think the toe is knocked out a little bit. So I just struggling grip-wise overall.
Copy. It's going to be hard to fix.
I don't know if it hurt the car or I just sucked, but it's not very good.
Allmendinger always tells it like it is, and Echo Park is partnered for the first time ever on a car wrap with AJ and the team. It's for his 500th career start here today. What do you have for us, Shannon?
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger certainly came into this weekend with some momentum, Adam. He had his season best finish last week, San Diego. That would be a 5th place, but the car really has been a handful all weekend. You saw him run off course in practice yesterday, and since the drop of the green flag, he has not been happy. He said the car has been just really all over the place. You heard him say he believes there's some damage. He said the left front is shaking, and he does believe that toe has been knocked out. So not a good feeling for the 16, even though he is holding steady right now on the race course.
Yeah, he was one of those drivers we talked pre-race, had a shot to go out and make it happen. Unfortunate start for driver 16. 7 to go in the stage. We'll see some pit stops soon. Gibbs in front of Van Gisbergen, Larson, McDowell, and Briscoe at the front. Trade the biggest moments in racing on Kalshi for a limited time. Download the Kalshi app and use code TNT to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi, trade the future. 5 to go in the stage, and here comes Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, he's been closing the gap a little bit here on Ty Gibbs. Looked like he might be in position to go for a pass on the backside of the racetrack in turn 7. I don't know, just how hard he's pushing here. He knows he has a little bit more speed, but he is talking about his car, wanting his car to get better. Got an opportunity to work on that car coming up here shortly, Steve.
I'm going to be fascinated what these drivers all do. We've talked so much about points, what you want to do. Well, 4 to go right here, coming to 3 to go. The leaders could wait one more lap, but the rest of the field, we're going to have to make the decision this time by. Are they going to try to pit before the end of the stage? When you look at drivers like Larson, Briscoe, more importantly, how about Hamlin in 6th, trying to run Reddick down? I imagine he's going to stay on the racetrack and try to get some points. 88 of Zilich on pit road in front of you, Marty.
Yeah, 4 to go here in stage 1, Steve. The first of those to try and flip this stage, bringing his Trackhouse Chevy down pit road. Been a little bit too free for Connor Zilich, who had a good run yesterday in the O'Reilly race, trying to get it done here in the Cup Series race today. And yes, next lap, you'll see a lot of people here on pit road, Steve.
Yeah, it's going to get busy. So once again, the 54 and the 97 could argue and pit one more lap because they would be the ones that close pit road. So no surprise here if Ty stays on the racetrack. We'll see what he does for a decision. He does. So what does everyone else do? 97 as well. So then up the road, they had 6 seconds over Larson. So now Larson, Briscoe, Hamlin will be entering the picture on the right-hand side. There you go, on the racetrack. So very popular group staying on the racetrack. They could be gambling on the leaders coming the next time. But if Gibbs stays on the racetrack, it'll shut it off. Here you go. Here's the mass group coming to pit road. No surprise.
You want points or do you want track position? And all these drivers say, give me some of that track position when I start that second stage.
Well, they had no points.
Yeah,
they said,
right.
hey, we're not inside the top 10, so we're going to have to come. I mean, you look at it. It looks like caution flag pit stops. So many cars coming at once. Shannon, Ryan Blaney on pit road.
Ryan Blaney, I told you guys he won that stage 1 week ago. Fast in practice, said the back is starting to slide. So you'll see him come in here and start to work on that number 12 car. Danielle?
And Tyler Reddick is going the wrong direction. After qualifying 11th, fell to 17th. They said, you are losing in turn 2. That is our biggest loss. They're trying to get better in that section of the racetrack.
As pit road's busy, rinse and repeat. Leaders coming now down into turn 11 again. We will see if now the 54 decides to pit or he's going to stay out for the stage win. Well, there you go. He's going to make the decision easy. Now, SVG is going to try to get committed to pit road before the 54 closes pit road. He has to get all the way around. There you go. He's now committed. Pit road was still open when he did it. Other cars are also jumping to pit road. Marty, 97 on the pit road in front of you.
Yeah, this was that decision marker that we talked about for the 97 team. Again, outside of a chase spot coming into the race here at Sonoma, but clearly feel like they have a car that can win. Kyle Larson also on pit road, and not a word from SVG after he said, quote, early on, we are terrible, but was one of the fastest cars. The later the run went on for SVG, for fresh Goodyear tires, they'll skip the points here in stage 1 and put themselves in a position to possibly win the race later today.
So because the start-finish line is all the way around turn 11, and all you have to do is go under that orange box, that allowed 2nd, 3rd, 4th to jump to pit road with Gibbs staying on the racetrack. So now with about a lap and a half left, Gibbs should kind of easily go on to the stage win. The 97 of SVG feeling really good about his position.
Bell stayed out. McDowell, Hocevar, Ryan Preece, who ran it long, won a stage last week, is in the top 5 as we head toward the end of stage 1. Penalty for Austin Dillon. This is what you don't want to do. Flip the stage, get penalized, speeding for the 3 team.
He's been pretty solid on the road courses this year, Austin Dillon has. It's a tough break for that team.
Final lap of the stage. Been a dominating performance from the pole for Ty Gibbs.
And at this point, you have to be very careful on this lap because we have a mix of new and old tires. So the closing rate on some of these braking zones can be very different. As a crew chief, you try to let your driver know if the car behind or in front, where they're at on their tire life.
Yeah, when you get out on the racetrack, if you can, if you got a little room behind you, take it real easy these last few laps to try to make sure when you restart the stage, you got a little more tire than some other folks. Some guys have to race really hard to maintain that track position or maintain the spots they have. Use up a little bit of tire here on these couple of laps before the end of the stage.
I remember when Ty Gibbs made his first career start in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, did it on the road course at Daytona. We were all curious how he would do. Had never executed a green flag pit stop. He was pretty good. He went out, won the race, and at that point we knew this kid is really special on the road. Been good at the Cup level as well. And he's going to win the opening stage here at Sonoma. His second stage win of the campaign. His first since he did it on the road course in Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. 23 cars flip the stage. So when the 54 makes their stop, their track position will be compromised. And we'll have those pit stops when we come back. NASCAR on TNT, brought to you by Brestree. Visit us at brestree.com. Stage one complete in the Toyota Mart 350. Ty Gibbs gets the win. Impressive ride for Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Larson, who both flipped the stage but managed to stay inside the top 10, get stage points, and they'll have some track position when we go green in stage two. I'm curious, where is Mamba? Let's find out.
Hey guys, I'm high atop the racetrack. Look at this view. I mean, if you wanted to get some brownie points with your significant other, I say bring them to Sonoma and watch some racing. But I'm not the only one up here, guys. Over here to my left is the spotters. The main spotters are right here, so they can basically see from turn one. They miss 3A and 3B, and then the rest of the track is theirs until down in turn 11. I was talking to Chris Lambert, who is the spotter for Denny Hamlin, earlier today. I asked him, I said, hey, was last week an anomaly, or are we going to see more out of the 11? He said Denny's gone to work in the sim. Old dog learning new tricks is going to be tough for the field. If Denny Hamlin can learn how to run some road courses now, boys, he might be hanging around for a lot longer.
Well, what a view, Mom. And I'll say spotting here becomes not just difficult for view, but you have to decide, is it driver's left, driver's right, or inside, outside? Because that could change in which direction you are basically turning. As you see now, Ty Gibbs wins that stage, Bell's second. But the penalty here will be their pit stop still required. You mentioned 23 cars flip the stage. That means we expect 23 cars to stay on the racetrack, Danielle.
Steve, Christopher Bell coming to pit road now. Car started going away with about 5 laps to go. Felt really good until then. Then he said it built loose. A nice 4-tire stop here, Marty.
Boy, Danielle, for a team that came in 34 points out of a chase spot, 8 critical stage points for Michael McDowell in the 71. Said we have great short run speed. It has to hang on longer, Shannon.
Yeah, perfect stage for Ty Gibbs, who told his crew that the car is good, just a little too tight on those right-hand turns. They know that they're going to be back there in traffic for this stage 2. They told him, just be patient. We'll get it back in stage 3.
Yeah, you said it, Shannon. The race off pit road is critical because you want to minimize the damage knowing that you're already going to be starting behind all those cars that stayed out. Ty Gibbs first on. He's the first off. He'll restart outside the top 20. The man in charge, Shane Van Gisbergen, as we get stage 2 next.
No.
No.
It's pretty impressive that Gibbs held on pretty good at
Can
the
you guys
end
hear
there.
me?
Like compared
Marty,
to SVG.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sounds good. Yep.
We got you good.
Yep. Yep.
Suarez was dropping like a brick.
He blistered a tire, they said.
Oh.
They said. I don't
Did
remember
you see
them
Jesse
showing
Love's
it.
tire last?
What's that?
Jesse Love's tire from yesterday.
It was more than one. Wasn't
I just saw one on. I knew we had a vibration,
Incredible.
but like the whole
Yeah.
center blew out of it.
Yeah, I saw photos up of that, and I feel like he showed multiple tires with different blisters.
Discuss that, and then Jeremy, after we discuss that, I'll say, and it's affected him in the points. You can throw the. Welcome back to Sonoma Raceway in the Toyota Save Mart 350. Incredible first stage discharge from Shane Van Gisbergen. But we have a developing situation here with Tyler Reddick and the number 45 car, guys. His team has gone under the hood. Jimmy, what do you think it is?
Yeah, it sounds like something in the power steering. We had this issue a couple times last year. They might be able to fix it and improve it, but as this issue develops, it's just eating the internal parts out of the power steering unit.
I don't know much, but I would say that not having power steering at a road course sucks.
Yeah, regardless of what his issue is, it's going to affect him greatly in the points. We talked about him being so close, or Hamlin being so close behind him heading into this race. Denny's having a great day and doing exactly what he needs to do.
Having a great day. And Mo, by the way, let's take a quick look at the current point standings as they run. Denny made up 121 points over the last 5 races on Tyler Reddick. And as they run right now, we have a new points leader. Denny Hamlin is now up on Tyler Reddick by 31 points. Fellas, Denny Hamlin has made his way to the top of the Cup Series point standings over a 6-race run. Adam, back to you guys.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, to be 31 up, who could have believed the turnaround this team has gone through? A 150-point climb.
Yeah, still a lot of race left. Have to see what happens with the Reddick car and whether they will make the repairs needed to give him the opportunity to get out there and perform. But Shannon, you got it? Danielle, you got more down there?
The 45 is trying to diagnose the issue right now, Dale. Tyler Reddick came over the radio and said, Billy, I can barely go fast. I'm trying to understand what's causing this. Billy said, we'll give you a full update when we understand the issue. Something's overflowing. We're just not sure exactly what that is.
So the power steering, it's a hydraulic system in here. There's a reservoir with a pump. It's run off a drive off the front of the engine. And we've had a couple different issues with this car. One can be the actual rack and pinion itself failing. This sounds like it's a hydraulic issue, but going off what Jimmy said right there, if the pump itself is kind of churning itself apart, it's going to be hard to fix here during the race.
Championship leader, #1 seed in-season challenge, head-to-head with Alex Bowman, something to watch. Leaders in the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson getting us going in the second stage.
All the 9 of Chase Elliott off the dirt a little bit there. Cost him a little bit of grip and a spot to the 88 of Zilich. Little contact with the 24 and Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, William Byron muscling up down to turn 4. What did you say earlier? They're arguing for position, Dale?
Look at Denny back to the inside. That's not over with.
Byron might send Denny an email based on that paint scheme the 11's running this week.
Larson trying to hang in there, staying close to SVG, man, but I'm just really surprised at the field handing over control of this race to the 97.
Bell and Gibbs, the top 2 that ran it long, but they're scored 21st, 22nd right now in the running order.
And now what they're looking to do is basically just stay in front. And not a lot of room. The driver's right there. Byron and the 11 make contact. They get away with it. Hamlin now to the inside, which will then quickly become the outside. Zilich also behind him in the 88.
You don't make contact down the front straightaway and keep it out of the wall unless you're Denny Hamlin, I guess. That was almost disaster for the 11 car. So there's a little contact right here. Looks like Blaney on his right front there. And then the 24 comes through and tries to run him off the track. He's like, guys, what's going on here?
Briscoe looking at second, peeking to the inside of Larson. Blaney right behind them.
They pushed that 11 car around, and what if there's a little bit of toe damage to the front of that car? And just when things were looking really good for Denny, he's had a challenging lap. Riding on board with HendrickCars.com. And Kyle Larson down into 11. Denny trying to fight to keep this position on Chastain, and he'll do it.
They need to celebrate Connor Zilich right in front of him. We popped him last time around. 88, didn't qualify great outside the top 15, but this rookie driver has been able to flip the stage, get some track position. He's 6th right in front of Hamlin.
Had an insane series of bad luck this year as a rookie, and pulled out a second place run against SVG in the O'Reilly field yesterday.
from the back.
Something to build on, right? Even though it's in the O'Reilly series, it's just something to build on, some confidence. He knows he can come here and run well in these cars if they go mistake-free. Marty, what you got on the 88?
You know, Dale, you know Connor Zilic very well. You see some battles back in the pack. 3 wide going onto the backside of the course. But you know Zilic very well. How important is it for a young driver to build confidence? I asked his crew chief, Randall Burnett. Last week, Zilic led some laps at San Diego, and he told me a top 5 is what we needed at San Diego. He said, honestly, right now, Junior, what we need, complete all the laps, finish the race at Sonoma today. That'll make me happy.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a baby step, Steve. We worked through that ourselves, trying to, get the team confidence up and just start to progress forward. Don't shoot for top threes. Just go for a top 15. Turn that into top 10. Turn that into top 5s. That's a month-long process.
Well, the driver's not gaining any more confidence sitting in the garage, and the team's not learning any more of what he needs in a race car. I mean, all of those things add up, especially with such limited practice time. On board with Kyle Larson doing a really nice job of keeping SVG in touch. Remember, 23 laps to go in this stage, and Adam, you mentioned the drivers like Gibbs and Bell. They're inside the top 20 now. Those that have scored those stage points, their goal is to be the front of that pack. Maybe they'll get a chance to win another stage if everybody hits pit road again.
Steve, you say it all the time. You just want to make sure you're leading your group on your particular strategy as we play the game a leapfrog. Back there in the 4th spot, driver 12, Ryan Blaney. How about him, Shannon?
Yeah, guys, speed is not a problem for Ryan Blaney right now. You see him in 4th. What is the problem is his cool shirt is obviously malfunctioning. He's telling the guys he does not think that he's working. It's working, I'm sorry. So the next time he comes down pit road, they're going to hand him a tool through that window so that he can evacuate that water so he does not burn up inside. Dale, Stevie, you guys can maybe talk about this a little bit, just how hot it can get inside those race cars when those cool shirts are not working.
Yeah, the cool shirt itself is basically a shirt that has little tubing that circulates cold water. What happens when the cold water stops recirculating, it just heats up to the level of the car. And anybody who knows who jumps in a pool, right? A 65-degree pool is way colder than 65-degree air. And that's kind of what happens right here. The warmer that water gets, it just insulates you. So he could connect something and just drain the shirt. But either way, it's going to be a tough situation. Luckily, a very comfortable day here in Sonoma.
Yeah, as long as he's competitive, that'll distract him somewhat on how uncomfortable he is. The C-45 car of Reddick still on pit road trying to fix a power steering issue.
Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin continues inside the top 10. He's 7th right now as we think about that chase for the regular season title.
Well, and at this point, I questioned the 11 not scoring stage points in stage 1, and shame on me. Chris Gale's decision to pit and keep this track position was genius, because of this mechanical issue with Reddick. I don't think it's as high a priority for Hamlin. He actually could think, why not me? Beating and banging at the end of this race, maybe I can have a great run here overall. So I like the strategy as we see the 9 and the 1 trying to decide who was going to get further right.
The chase is on. Chase diving to the inside of Chastain, slides in behind Allmendinger.
Bubba Wallace driving through the field after the crash in qualifying.
2 weeks in a row they've come back.
He's done a great job today. I didn't know if the 2311 cars had the speed, but he's shown up and seems to have a car that can move through the field. There's the progress you see. Bottom of the screen is the 23 and Bubba Wallace continue to move forward.
Danielle did the report earlier of the challenges they faced at San Diego. Marty said it yesterday, one of the most impressive runs of his career to get a runner-up spot down south in Southern California, and he's been good here today. To the top 10 now with Van Gisbergen leading. DC Studios Supergirl starring Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa now playing in theaters. Hour north of San Francisco, the gorgeous Golden Gate Bridge. And Sonoma Raceway, the home to NASCAR this weekend. Heading toward the chase, and a familiar scene here. Shane Van Gisbergen, the race leader. Got a 1.3 second advantage over Larson, Briscoe, Blaney, Byron, your top 5. Heading toward the middle portion of stage 2. Briscoe having another good day, Danielle.
He sure is, Adam. Third is where he's running right now, and they're happy with the car. James said just be careful getting too far left into turn 4. Other than that, your line has been great. James Small, the crew chief on this car, Adam, was emphatic when I talked to him this morning, saying we are going to flip both stages because I'm here to win. If you go for points, you get buried in the field, and I don't want to race like a loser. I'm here to win.
I like a crew chief that has a plan, sticks with his plan, even if it doesn't work out. I do agree that flipping the stages is the best pathway forward to win. The reason you may not is because you just assume someone like the 97 is going to win the stage or the race, and you want to make the most of it. But I will tell you, Ty Gibbs and the 20th Bell doing a really nice job in full contact quarters. They're up to 15th and 16th. I don't think they'll get all the way back. Oh, as we see Bubba Wallace off track, you see the cars to the speed over to the right, so he got sent off to the left.
Yeah, it looks like might have missed turn 8. I'm not sure if he made any contact with the barrier or the wall over there.
Very delicately merges back in. Todd Gilliland going to take advantage. Austin Hill there in the 33. Bubba was top 10, now being scored 22nd.
Yeah, the car looks clean.
Well, so for it looking like he shortcut the course, that was a great update, right? From the top 10 to 22nd. So this is a track we rarely talk about shortcutting. He obviously found a piece of the track over there off track that got him back on, but by losing spots, it's no advantage. So no penalty. The penalty itself is just losing the track position.
Look at the numbers there. They want consistency. Third at Michigan, second last week.
Let's see if we can get a look at this 23 of Bubba Wallace and how this happens. Just gets a little bit loose in the S's, overcorrects it. He knows that he's not on the racetrack anymore, right? So let's see. Got a little too much curb right there. And so that puts him on this runoff here. He comes to a stop because he thinks he needs to serve a penalty. He doesn't, right?
Yeah, the stop's unnecessary.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a little.
Well, we say the stop's unnecessary, but it's a judgment call. So he's obviously over there in distress, getting too loose, as you pointed out, Dale. He probably has no idea where he's going to rejoin the racetrack, not something you practice. So I'm afraid if he gasses up and he blends in about the same spot, NASCAR could at that point say, nope, you cut the course, and that's a pass-through, which is a 25-second penalty. He decides to give some back early in the race. I think I like that call from Bubba, just making sure you don't have to serve any sort of second penalty, what is already a mistake.
Let's get an update. William Byron 6, Shannon.
Yeah, Adam, William Byron just dropping outside that top 5. He's still looking for his first win of the season. And despite that 32nd place finish at San Diego, Rudy Fugel did tell me that they're starting to hit on something. He said, we are getting closer and closer. Speaking of getting closer, Fugel and his entire crew, they made the drive up the Pacific Coast Highway from San Diego up here to Sonoma. Said it was a team bonding event for those guys. You know, they work so hard every single day, week to week, to be able to spend a little time away from the racetrack and away from the shop, just doing so great for this 24 team. Just a little bit tight right now for William Byron. Marty?
Behind Byron is Denny Hamlin. When I chatted with him this morning, I said, how's the car? He said, dude, we have legit speed. And after stage 1, here was a conversation between Chris Gale and Denny Hamlin.
Pace was really good there the whole time. Everything looking good. Like, I don't really have any tips to give you there. Once we were not held up by traffic, you were as good as anybody. Honestly, not a whole lot of fall off either.
Steve, how many times do you tell Joe Jr., I got nothing to complain about the way you're driving, buddy? But you kind of wondered why Chris Gale made that decision, Steve, to kind of forego those stage points in stage 1. Maybe it's a straight-up legit speed in the 11 that they clearly have today, and that was part of the decision.
Speed and confidence. You know, Dale, you and I were just talking about Zilich, right? A young driver and how you build confidence. Well, I will tell you, even a veteran like Denny Hamlin, You love to know that your team has your back, that we're going to come here, you know, belong, as we see some pushing and some shoving between the 19 and the 5. So I like the call from Gale and telling Hamlin, like, we are good. We're going to race this the right way, try to get the best finish we possibly can.
It's a dogfight for second right here. Larson, Briscoe, Blaney all ran within a tenth of each other the last couple of laps. And SVG is not a whole lot faster right there in the lead. So pretty interesting is the 5 getting pressure. He's going to start burning the rear tires off. You see a little movement in the braking zone of the 5. It's starting to slide around, get a little greasy in the back end. The 19 car continues to try to keep the pressure on.
All these leaders have no interest in getting back into this mess right here. This is how your day can be ruined very quickly.
And this is where you really have to take a step back if you're Bubba Wallace, because you had passed all those cars, you go off track, and now, as Dale said, you're in the dogfight, riding with Buescher up the hill to turn 2. Right behind fellow Ford Zane Smith. Zane coming off a career best. When you talk about road racing last weekend in San Diego, he's a California guy.
Zane was given a lot of pressure to the 2 eccentric laps ago, but it seems like he's overheated his tires a little bit, having to back off a little bit now, getting pressure from Buescher. Buescher and Logano moments ago down into turn 7. Oh, he got a little loose in the braking zone. Door slams the 22.
Hip check. See Cindric there in the 2. He's trying to take advantage of that moment. Past the halfway point of our second stage. Shane Van Gisbergen is the race leader in Sonoma. He's in front of Larson, Briscoe, Blaney, and Zillage. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Just over 10 laps to go. Stage 2, Sonoma, California. Side by side on TNT, you saw a little movement off the pavement here on the road course.
Yeah, let's take a look. 23 gets loose in the braking zone. He's about to crash, so luckily he's able to land in the lap of the 34 car.
Yeah, the 34 though,
he wasn't very happy.
No, he said, listen, I know it was a mistake, but your mistake cost me, so I'm going to find you here entering turn 2, and I'm going to make sure that you don't make turn 2.
Bubba ends up in the dirt. And just seconds later, 34 says, you know what, one's not enough.
I'm going to get both.
We're going to get one more.
You know what, I'm so mad at Bubba, I'm going to get his teammate too.
I mean, what a rough ride for 2311 today. They were so good last week. And you think about here today, Reddick having the issues, has made multiple pit stops, 6 laps down. And both Herbst and Bubba Wallace going for rides. Let's get an update on Reddick, Danielle.
Yeah, right now, Adam, Billy Scott is telling Tyler Reddick, just keep making laps all the way until the end of this stage, and then I'll make a determination on whether we go to the garage or not. If we do, we'll have to change the rack, and it could take a while. But right now, their lap times are decent. It is worth noting, Adam, points as they run. Tyler Reddick is 25 points behind Denny. This is the first time the entire season we have a points leader who's not named Tyler Reddick.
Thank you, Danielle. And we continue to watch the climb for the 88 of Connor Zilic, up to 4th in the running order as Larson slides back to 5th.
Yeah, a little wave out the window of thanks in that braking zone of 4, and the 88 continues to impress today. I'm sure they can try to make this car even better for Connor as they get going into stage 3.
In-season challenge, some interesting battles. Top seed Reddick in trouble. Bowman, the man he's facing here in the opening round, 22nd. Look at Cindric Keselowski. Talked about the problems for Suarez.
Yeah, it was Atlanta last year with a lot of upsets, but I think we all felt there would be a few upsets out of this race. Although been clean and green, right? Only yellow so far has been the end of the stage.
Well, and it won't be long, Steve, before you start talking about pit stops to flip it here in stage 2, and the games will begin again.
Yeah, they will. So Ty Gibbs and Bell, the two that finished 1-2 in the first stage, or up front of the first stage, or 10th and 11th. We will see what everybody decides to do. I imagine the majority of the top 5 or 10 cars will come to pit road before the end of the stage. They've already done that once.
How impressive is the 12 up there, Blaney? Yesterday in practice had really good speed, but the rear of that car went away quickly. He was really, really loose after a handful of laps. They found a way to get some tire life in the rear tires of this number 12 as he's hounding Briscoe just ahead of Larson and Zilic. Put a little pressure on the 19 car.
Talk about those drivers that ran it long in stage 1. Michael McDowell, 17th right now, Marty.
Yeah, Adam, we saw a couple of cars that did run it long on stage 1 be able to make their way close to the top 10, and Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell. Not the case for Michael McDowell. On the restart, got a little damage into Brad Keselowski, and the hood kind of lifted up around the louver, Steve, especially on the driver's side. They were a little bit worried about the temperatures inside the 71. McDowell said those are fine, but with only a couple of cars making progress, Steve, after they ran the entire stage 1, would that dissuade you from doing it here in stage 2 if you're thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't flip stage 2, your chance to win the race drops dramatically. Like basically 75% of the time, the winner flips stage 1. It's even a higher percentage for someone who'll flip stage 2. What I would tell you, though, is if you're a car that's running 12th or 14th, you could stay out, let everybody flip the stage, and you're going to score 8 or 9 stage points, and you probably have a chance to drive back into the top 15. So we talk a lot about what's important for the guys winning the race. But I bet if you're for Bell, who's out there in 10th, or Gibbs in 8th, if you could win the second stage, that's 20 points. That's like basically winning a race, a 20-point bonus. 10 points for each stage as we see the 41 coming by the 22 of Logano.
Yeah, this is a battle for 22nd, 23rd position. Battle up front, though. The 12 of Blaney to the inside. This is coming down the front straightaway. Blaney not really in a good spot here to be able to continue that battle, but he's going to try to keep it close. Now you tend to kind of run these corners and not make a move here. You're just trying to stay close, trying to not let that 19 get that drive and pull away out of 2. You want to try to get down in the braking zone of 4 and be on his bumper exiting 4 to be able to try to make the pass into 7.
Well, those two trade blows, 19 and 12 of Briscoe and Blaney. Zilich continues the climb. I know he led laps last week for the first time in his Cup career. What he's doing today is impressive, and there goes the 12. Side by side for second. It's all happening behind SVG. 7 to go, stage 2. Blaney in the runner-up spot now. It's always one of the great stops on the NASCAR calendar when we come to Sonoma, wine country, Northern California. Always proud to bring you the Toyota Save Mart 350 on TNT. First of 5 weeks here and a good race going at Sonoma Raceway.
As we got toward the end of the stage, SVG turned up the wick a little bit, running about a second faster than Blaney in second and almost 2 seconds faster than 4th and 5th Briscoe here and Larson. So
I think this was a tire practice run.
Yeah.
This clean flag is 22 laps. They're going to have to run longer than that on a set of tires on the next stage. I think he just managed the lead. And the crew chief said, hey, let's just see where we stack up. And he threw that number up there, and everybody realized, oh, we're really good. But, yep, and that would probably settle the pit box down for the 97.
I looked up, it doesn't feel like that long ago, and the lead for Van Gisbergen was 15 seconds over 10th. He's now got a almost 10-second advantage over second place Ryan Blaney. 4 to go in the stage. Here's Michael McDowell, Marty.
Pit road open for business, Adam, for those kind of a little bit further back, like Michael McDowell, who could not get back to the top 15. He is going to flip this stage here, then bring him down, get fresh Goodyears on. He said the car just too free, and they fall off way too much at the end of the run.
Well, and because of the gap of the 97 to Blaney now at 10 seconds, I don't think Blaney and Zilich can run that extra lap. SVG will stay out because he could pit the next time around. But if we look back up the road to Blaney, Zilich, Briscoe, Larson, Hamlin, if they're going to come, now's the time. So right-hand side of your screen, pit time, Blaney and Zilich are going to stay out. Not so much for Briscoe, Larson, Hamlin. They're sticking on the plan. Ty Gibbs and Bell stays out. So you see the split decision already. The 19 of Briscoe running inside the top 5, Danielle.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe has been absolutely silent on the radio, but he's happy. James Small is happy with the race car. He said just focus on the exit, don't overdrive it. You see they're flipping the stage again. He said focus forward, Marty.
And, we had a little debate. Should Denny Hamlin and Chris Gale stay out and earn those stage points? They decide not to. He said the car, 0 complaints for Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott said, my car is really good. I just need to manage the rears a little bit better. The 9 with some decent speed. And look at that little drag race there between Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson coming off pit road.
That was fun. 19 jumps out in front of the 5 as they make their way back up to turn 2 and rejoin the race after making those scheduled green flag pit stops late stage 2.
But see, I assume the 97 pit. So now the question I have is, do Blaney and Zilich come in? Gibbs and Bell, I think we saw their strategy. They won stage 1. Look how much a head start the 97 has. He's going to come all the way around. There's going to answer your question. Blaney, Zilich come to pit road. Ty Gibbs stays on the racetrack. He will be the leader and probably have the best chance to win the stage. Marty.
You see SVG coming down pit road, so that last adjustment really helped. I need more of that, but the long run speed in the 97, just exceptional. And even though they're going to flip stage 2 here, don't be surprised if SVG gains a decent amount of stage points here as well. See his teammate Connor Zilich, who is keeping pace with SVG on the longer run. Very impressive day for Connor Zilich, Shannon.
Blaney into the pit box just as Shane Van Gisbergen pulls out. The back of this 12 car is sliding just a little bit. No further word on that cool suit, so we'll have to keep an update on that.
Yeah, SVG in the pylon has blended back in the 7th position. So as we talk about all the time, fast cars make strategy much easier for a crew chief, and the 97 of SVG has the speed. You see on the left side, last pit. So Gibbs, Bell, Allmendinger, Cindric, Chastain, Zane Smith have all chose to run the stage very standard. Run to the green and white checker, score those stage points. SVG and Zilich, Briscoe, Blaney, all with much fresher tires, pitted, but will still score stage points. It'll be interesting to see if the 97 can run anybody down in front of him. He's got maybe a couple seconds up the road to Zane Smith. That would be a tall task in a couple laps. I think the 97 might save tires. Sorry, Dale.
Yeah, you see Briscoe actually coming to pit road a lap earlier, able to leapfrog Blaney and now put the pressure on the 88 for a spot as well. Zilich trying to get those tires up to 10.
We saw in qualifying, you almost would roll out one slow lap and they would fire. So up to 10 is exactly what he's trying to do. Normally, these Goodyear stick to tires are the best right off pit road, but this week it seems to take a lap to get going.
Battle for 8th on track with Zilich and Briscoe, but it's 2nd and 3rd when you think about those drivers that have flipped the stage. 22 cars flipped stage 2. So we talk about the compromise of running it long. Ty Gibbs less than a lap away from sweeping the stages today.
Yeah, and hopefully Jimmy's still not sitting down on the desk because one of his drivers, John Hunter Nemechek, too fast on pit road, currently in the 20th position. So great strategy call, gonna go away. He'll have to serve a penalty, start that final stage from all the way in the back.
I look at these drivers running it long. I go right to position number 4, Austin Cindric. We're going to get some stage points here. I talked to Brian Wilson, his crew chief, yesterday. He said it's been a blue-collar effort. A lot of runs this season between 8th and 14th as they nickel and dime their way into a chase position and trying to get some stage points here.
Well, think about this. With this win, Gibbs will have scored 20 stage points. He came in today only a point behind Larson in the standings, 50-ish behind Blaney. So this is a driver who is thinking moving up. And how about Bell? What a day. He had slipped to 12th with this wrist injury. No matter what happens, he has scored a ton. 18 stage points for the injured driver of the 20.
Get out the broom. It's a sweep for Ty Gibbs, who wins stage 1 and stage 2 from the pole here at Sonoma. Bell, Allmendinger, Cindric, Chastain, the top 5. Zane Smith running great lately, able to get some stage points. And Shane Van Gisbergen flips the stages, once again getting stage points. Zilich, Briscoe, and Blaney, those other drivers that flip the stage and find their way in to the top 10. It's only the 2nd time that Ty Gibbs has recorded a stage sweep. He'll be on pit road when we return to Sonoma.
I got greedy and I had Ty Dillon again.
NASCAR Cup Series racing on TNT is brought to you by the Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express Card, and by Straight Talk Wireless, an official partner of NASCAR, available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Next weekend, Chicagoland Speedway. ARCA cars hit the track Friday evening, FS1, 8 Eastern Time. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series taking center stage, a 4th of July celebration, 5:30 Eastern on CW. That's Saturday. And then Sunday, our coverage, NASCAR Nation begins 5 o'clock Eastern on TNT. And we can say, slide job together, Dan.
Oh, yeah,
Can't wait.
It's
Can't
gonna
wait
be-
to see the next gen at Chicagoland.
Yeah,
Pit
buckle
road.
up. Buckle up. It's going to get busy.
It is. Here they are, Danielle.
Christopher Bell's coming in after finishing second in that stage, Adam. Christopher has scored 18 stage points today. That's important because they're 12th in points. They've had a rough few weeks and a rough pit stop here. He had an opening coming out, had to back it up, and now the 20 is away, Shannon.
Yeah, Danielle, the car has just been a handful for A.J. Allmendinger making his 500 start today. Said he just can't push it as hard as everyone else, so they are going to make an air pressure adjustment. You see the 54 right there, a little bit slow. He's just a little tight, but of course a great points day for Ty Gibbs, who came in here 5th in the points and has now secured both stages.
Christopher Bell, we'll talk about his issues. Lost 4 spots in that exchange.
We heard issues on the 20. It looked like the left front on the left side. So watch from they leave the right side as they come around the car. Everything looks great. But watch the exchange in the front. Watch the tire carrier. He hangs the tire, jack drops. Oh, whoa, whoa, he bangs on the windshield. Great heads up move by the tire changer, tire carrier. They know it isn't tight. This seems bad, but remember, if this car goes on the racetrack and the tire comes off, it's a 2-lap penalty and a suspension. This right here is just a loss of spots. Watch this tire carrier. Banging on the car. That's better than radio communication. I'm just going to bang on the windshield.
And they jacked the car up to be able to secure the lug. You cannot tighten the lug with the tire on the racetrack or on the surface of pit road.
We'll reset things and go green in the final stage when we return on TNT.
Welcome back to Sonoma Raceway. Ty Gibbs sweeps both of the first two stages. The only other driver to do that here at Sonoma was Kyle Larson in 2021, and Larson went on to win that race. Great pit strategy here from SVG, Connor Zilic, Chase Briscoe, and Ryan Blaney. Each of them flipped the stage, Jamie, but each of them finish in the top 10 and earn stage points.
Yeah, if you look at these stage points for both Gibbs and Bell, I mean, 20 and 18, look, they've essentially forfeited their shot at going after SVG in this race, but they're capitalizing on having a great points day. And if you look at Gibbs, for example, 5th in points, only 1 point behind Larson ahead of him, only 50 behind Blaney, who neither of those guys are on that list, so having a great points day.
How does this change the approach, Jimmy?
It changes so much. And when I think about the issues on pit road that we saw for the 20 car, him back in the vehicle this weekend, what he's trying to chase, and the amount of effort and energy and how kind of on the ragged edge these pit guys have to live. The fact that they stopped that car, got it back in action, I think, Christopher's going to have a great day. And then all this other points collecting that's going on is really going to shake things up.
And certainly incredible grit from Christopher Bell. And Dale, I want to pose to you, based on everything that Christopher Bell is managing with that broken wrist here at a road course, turning right and left, having to manipulate and change different pieces of the interior of that race car, how do you describe what you're seeing from him?
Well, it's been pretty impressive, honestly. And, as long as you're driving a race car, I think that all of us that have driven understand this. No matter how sick you are or injured you are, if your car's competitive, it's a distraction. It keeps you in the fight. It's when those days are long, that's when it gets really, really tough.
Two really talented road racers on the front row to begin the final stage. Shane Van Gisbergen next to the rookie Connor Zilic. They're making their way to the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Final stage starts now on TNT.
Lane choice, always a debate. SVG making the right lane, an obvious choice from the front row. The back of the field will have to figure it out up over the crest of turn 2.
Briscoe noses through to third. Blaney and Larson trying to settle fourth as SVG gets away with the lead.
Looked like A.J. Allmendinger got shoved in the dirt a little bit right there in the back of the field. Everybody trying to figure it out, more contact.
51 to go in the race. A pit stop still required, but with no natural yellows today, you can see everybody's anticipation as we have a big stack up on the inside lane into turn 7.
So much contact back in the pack and lots of toe links getting bent, front ends getting banged around.
That was my concern when you talked about Bell. I love the grit, but now is my anxiety for the driver of the 20. I'm sure he's fine on track, but one wrong bang of a front wheel with your hands on the steering wheel, that's when I think you could re-injure that wrist.
Connor putting the pressure on SVG down into turn 11. SVG a little defensive to the inside. Connor probably would have taken the opportunity to go there, but SVG knew it. These two guys have raced each other enough in the O'Reilly series. They've had some good battles on the racetrack to kind of understand each other's instincts. We don't see SVG on the defense very often.
Yeah, selfishly, this is the battle I've been waiting to see. Everybody's talked about who can really bring the fight to SVG, and the list is long. Briscoe's amazing, Larson, but they've kind of all had their shots over the last couple of years. Zilic, at least in the Cup car, hasn't really had a clean race to be right here on the back bumper of SVG.
Can Connor get through turn 4 here and have an opportunity in the braking zone of 7? SVG really wide out of 4 there, loves that higher line to be able to carry the speed. Oh, lots of contact back here in the pack.
The dust is flying. Barry's there, Noah Gregson in the 4, and the caution is out. Steve just said it, clean race, only cautions prior to now were the end of stage 1 and stage 2. Our first for a problem on track 61 laps into this race.
That's another lap back for Reddick. He got one back under the last caution. It's a stage break. This will put him 4 laps down. I know we're unlikely to get 4 yellows, but you just never know what might be able to bring this guy back into the battle.
Well, and you keep tightening cars up for restarts here in the final stage. We saw this a little bit last year. I mean, we say it so often, but when it comes to this style of racing, cautions do, in fact, breed cautions.
Trying to see what the yellow was for. Right here, we're going to see some contact. 221.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if Josh turned into the corner unknowingly coming across the nose of the 2 car of Cindric. It's hard to tell from that vantage point, but just a contact between the 2, and the 21 spins Josh around.
Then a stack up with some other cars. Probably.
Everybody's pretty lucky to get through there, actually.
I thought Busher was going to be a yellow by himself. That thing was spinning out off the curb. Oh, there you go.
Debris on track, early caution final stage. Van Gisbergen leading in Sonoma. NASCAR on TNT, back live at Sonoma Raceway, Northern California. Today, it's the Toyota Mart 350. Final stage underway in the broadcast booth with the Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte. I'm Adam Alexander, and we had some interesting things happening turn 7 on the restart.
Well, we talked about Bell with that injured left wrist. Great track position earlier to score points, but right here, a stack up, a shot. That shot in the front bumper, not as concerning. Right on board, though. Check this out. I mean, that's a much harder contact than you would looks like from outside the car. Those don't concern me as much as if that happens door to door, Danielle, you know, and you hit those front tires. I just get worried that the wheel could be jerked within his hands and perhaps injure or at least hurt that left wrist.
Adam Stevens told me this morning, Steve, that he's only halfway through his recovery. It was 3 weeks ago. The doctors say it's another 3 weeks until that wrist is 100%. Bell just came on the radio after that slow pit stop. It was 17.5 seconds. And he said, guys, no matter what, I know we're back in 25th, but we scored 18 stage points today. We desperately needed those. Guys, they're 12th in points. They've had 3 straight finishes of 26th or worse. They're trying to salvage something here today.
Back and ready for the restart on TNT. Front row again. Teammates Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zilic.
Ready. Great.
Man, not a great restart for Zilic. I don't know if that was team orders or whatever, but if it was, he's giving up possibly second position to Briscoe. Every pass, every race, every position battle here is for the win. That's the way you got to approach these races.
If that was team orders, I'd be arguing the next time I heard it over the radio. The 5 and the 12, excuse me. The 9 of Chase Elliott offline, drivers left. And look at the swarm of bees to the right, 2 and 3 wide. They still have him out of the groove.
Yeah, almost. Oh, we got a car around. The 11 of Hamlin, lots of positions.
He was up there inside the top 10, riding 7th, goes around in 7, and with all these cars on the lead lap, just losing so many.
And that gives a points lead back to the 45 of Reddick, as these two are now second to last and last on the field.
And now, though, you go back to those decisions to not try to win the stages, to come down pit road and keep all that track position you fought for. Just like that, one trip through turn 7, it evaporates, and you have scored no stage points.
One little hiccup here can cost you big time.
Oh, the 34 of Gilliland turned around.
Be interested to see who got him.
He's been in a few battles today.
Yeah.
Maybe someone returning a favor.
Let's take a look and see how Denny got turned around here. He's kind of shipped off into the corner. A little contact to the nose there. That's not ideal. Another look at it right there. Just 3 wide Hocevar with his nose in there.
You knew it.
Boy. Denny's going to have something to say about that on Actions Detrimental.
Hey, don't look now, but I'm thinking in-season challenge and a little upset special. Ty Dillon scored 10th right now with Hamlin, as you said back there, 34th. Incredible.
Hocevar spins him around, but also that was the contact was Hocevar as well. So the door of Hocevar's car damaged. Oh, was so close. I went through that grass a few times.
Look at this snake at the front. I mean, these guys just not getting away from each other.
Yeah, I think SVG just sits right here at the front of the field till it's time to go. You know, really, really sharp racer. Knows he's got a little bit more in his pocket. And let these guys think that they can keep up with him, and they're going to push hard.
Frustrating, right?
Man, I'm hanging on with SVG.
I'm there.
He's just sitting there letting you burn your tires right off the car.
Then you're 10 seconds back.
He is. He gets the carrot a little closer. You speed up, he pulls it away.
He looks in the rearview mirror and winks at his competition.
Something about this 19.
Oh, the 9's around. Coming out of turn 4, Chase Elliott spins.
All right, good to roll.
Well, Joey Chitwood style.
3 more coming left side,
in
clear
advance.
Saw a couple of those yesterday in practice and qualifying.
I couldn't tell if somebody got him in the rear bumper.
The 42 is spinning out. It's chaos.
He's not done spinning out.
Look out.
See you behind the tree. Just the 34, then you're good.
Now this is starting to feel like Sonoma. I don't know what happened those first 2 stages.
Reddick's sitting there thinking, dang, any of these a caution?
That's right.
I need some laps back.
I need 4 more.
Yep.
Just help me out, guys.
Somebody put it in the tires. Zilic trying to push Briscoe for this position, trying to get that back.
See what happened to the 9 of Chase Elliott. This is exiting turn 4, kind of the bottom of the hill.
I can't tell if he got help from the 2 of Cindric or not.
Yeah.
Cindric was right up there on the back bumper.
Oh, listen.
Oh, I think he actually climbed up on top of the curb there.
He definitely hit the curb.
Yeah.
I can't tell if there was a bump from behind, but the 9 definitely got himself out of shape with all that internal curb.
It's really good for second.
Zilic
Connor
with him.
Zilic looking inside turn 7.
Little contact.
He had the bump, just didn't have the run to get by Briscoe there. 19 stays in that runner-up spot.
I don't expect any takers on pit road, but to just put it in perspective, if you pitted on this lap, you should be able to make it to the finish, so any pit stop from here will connect to the checkered flag. Tires have had some value today. There were years where people would all come to pit road, but now tires have value, so they've been waiting as we see the 88 with a big late move. The 19 defends.
The only thing about this is the 88 has to make this pass quickly because all of the heat soak that happens being behind this car. Not a lot of air getting into the brakes, not a lot of air getting in there that car to keep it cool. Tires getting hot and mad, brakes getting hot and mad, and he charges deep into every braking zone. He continues to heat soak those brakes. Take a little bit of performance out of that car if you're not able to make this pass. If you can make the pass, boom, all that clean air opens back up, cool that car back down. The performance comes back.
Well, Stephen Doran, the crew chief for the SVG, now that he knows they're inside a fuel window, if the caution comes out, maybe he knows he would come to pit road. So we talked about that cat and mouse game for the 97. I might almost be encouraging the opposite. I might say, you know what, running high. Just drive off the front of this field. Let's take all the pressure off our green flag pit stop and demoralize them. That also is good for the ego as well, right? Like, let's just prove that they can't keep up. But how about Gibbs back there in 11th? Don't look now, but a guy that has won both stages, that I agreed with Jamie McMurray, who said they've kind of removed themselves from competition for the win, and I think a win would be a big, tall task. Already knocking on the door of the top 10.
Really good race car today. Swept the stages, got the points, and now back inside the top 10 as he goes around Ty Dillon. Looking impressive here in this final stage, Shannon.
Yeah, Adam, Ty Gibbs did not grow up racing on road courses. In fact, he told me the first time he ever did it was in 2019, Road Atlanta in the Trans Am Series. Before that, only laps on iRacing on this type of race course, but it's something he's always been good at. Of course, you mentioned earlier in the race, won his very first race on a road course in the O'Reilly Series. His crew chief, Tyler Allen, told me he studies, he's got great pace, and his team absolutely loves having them drive his car at this kind of racetrack.
Man, I mean, what a difference a year makes for this group. They struggled last year, found a little momentum in the summer when he won the in-season challenge. But this year, they came out of the gate strong, had a run of top 5s, top 10s, got that first career win at Bristol, and here they are very much in position today. Everybody chasing Shane Van Gisbergen. He's in front of Briscoe, Zillage, Blaney, and Larson. 42 to go. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Time for Kalshi market predictions. Kalshi traders currently forecasting the percentages of who has the best shot to win this race. And we look at the leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, in there, showing right around 80%.
Nope, dropped a little bit there. Oh, continues to drop. Somebody's running some good laps, I guess. Yeah, we see this battle for seconds cooled off a little bit as 18 kind of cooked everything on that car and lost a little bit of braking performance. So he settles back here. It should return to the car once you get a little gap and get them brakes kind of cooled off. We saw how good the long run speed was for Zilich in the last stage.
Well, when you're this close and you've been restarting on the front row with your teammate and you know the battles that they've had on Saturdays and the success that Zilich has enjoyed there, you can't help but want to go out and win. But I would also say when you think big picture and the kind of season that he has had to be where they are, just want to make sure now that you finish off the deal, even if you can't get by SVG and win. And now we drift back and we talk about drivers with a lot on the line. Byron in a points battle trying to get to the top 10. Priest trying to stay in a chase position, having another good day on the road in the 60 for RFK.
I'm extremely impressed by Priest. Finished 5th in stage 1. Battling hard here. Looks like that 24 car using up the rear tires a little bit over turn 3 there into 4. Priest ready to strike in the braking zone.
He was outside the chase entering last week's race, got a stage win, and points as they run plus 15 as he goes around Byron. And look who's right behind him. We talk about the long run, Gibbs getting the stage points, winning those stages today, and boy, he's right back in the hunt in the top 10, 9th.
Yeah, you look at what Priest did last week. He scored more points than anyone at 45 points at San Diego with those first and second in the stages, as you mentioned. The 54 of Ty Gibbs trying to kind of replicate that as he closes in on this duo. This 54 car, we have a lot of racing left. 38 laps to go in a pit stop. I think this 54 car is going to be a player before this is over.
So fast, comparable to the speed of everyone else. I don't know how to handicap him against SVG because the 54 is in traffic, making a lot of passes that are taking some lap time away, but
he's just all over me. I don't know how he's going faster.
That's the 24 of Byron, and I agree. I mean, that's the way you feel as a driver behind the wheel when everybody in the mirror keeps getting closer and closer. You feel like you're under pressure, losing positions to cars on the same tires as you. You had a great car in practice, a great car in stage 1, and now you're struggling as the track continues to change.
17 laps on most of these leaders' tires, 17 green flag laps, 37 to go in the race. I think we're going to run maybe 10 or 12 more laps before we start to see a wave of pit stops. SVG, the guy all the way out front by nearly 2 seconds, he'll be the most patient. I think he thinks there's no reason for me to do anything crazy and get myself behind on tires. So he won't want to be the last to pit road, but I don't feel that there's any urgency to be the first to pit road either.
Have to give a shout out to Bowman as well. Alex running in 10th, done a really solid job, but this is the kind of race we see from the 48 team. We watch SVG up the hill. Marty, what you got on SVG?
So let's talk a little pit strategy with a 97 bunch. So thinking about 10 laps or so for SVG. Let's also go back to the last restart for Shane Van Gisbergen and his teammate Connor Zilich. That was not team order, just a bad restart by Zilich. But Junior, can I borrow your driver thesaurus real quick? They were given SVG times of everybody else behind him. He said, keep that information coming. I will, quote, drive off of that. What does that mean when SVG says, I'll drive off of the lap times everybody else is turning?
He's just controlling the gap. That's all he's doing. He knows that he needs to save as much rear tire and drive and comfort in this car as possible. So he's only going to run fast enough to stay in the lead and be comfortable in the lead. Now, when they need to come to pit road, maybe they tell him a few laps ahead of time, Steve, okay, drop the hammer. Give me 4 or 5 hard laps. Let's get this gap and lengthen this gap here before you come to pit road. You got X amount of tire laps to use up whatever you saved on the tire.
It's a video game for SVG. He has his lap time on his dash, so he's just probably running that target lap time, kind of like bracket racing. Danielle, Chase Briscoe in the 19, though, is very impressive.
Well, his crew chief, James Small, agrees with you, Steve. He said, good pace here. You are matching the times of SVG. Really good work, mate. I like your style in turn 4.
I like that. Really good work, mate. That was Danielle. Danielle, that was really nice.
That was true radio translation right there.
That was an exact quote from James Small. Can you imagine if James Small and SVG worked together? What sort of radio transcription we would get? It would be unbelievable. I'd have to call Lee Diffie to translate.
It would be quite enjoyable.
My Australian accent is not good. I wasn't going to go there.
I liked it, Danielle. So now, you know, you ask yourself, look, SVG's obviously the dominant car. He's led 44 laps today. I will tell you, I want Ty Gibbs to get closer, right? He led 31. I think he's one of the best cars moving through traffic. But you still have to execute. Coming down pit road, there's a lot of ways to lose a race. I have 1,000 notebooks at home that can tell you how to give one of these things away. And if you're one of these other drivers, I think you have to remind yourself what happened last week, Dale, right? I think a lot of drivers went to San Diego thinking about running second. They didn't even think about winning the race. Everyone was ready to just give Shane the trophy. He didn't really do anything wrong but get caught up in a wreck. And just like that, you could hear the fresh air go across the garage area. If I'm a crew chief on pit road, I'm reminding my driver, you know, we still have a chance. There are 34 laps to go in this race.
Well, in talking to Tyler Allen, Ty Gibbs' crew chief in the garage this morning, they believe that he's the one. I mean, we've talked so much. Shannon's done the reports. I mentioned his early success in his O'Reilly days, and he has delivered at the Cup level as well. Having a good afternoon, just a loss of track position here. And as you said, it would be interesting to see him up there in the game.
I want to circle that right there. 1:16.8 out of Gibbs back in 8th versus a 1:17.0 for the leader. So a fastest car back in traffic working on passes as he pulls out a line from Priest. Ty Gibbs isn't ready to just hand the trophy over yet.
Up to 7th for driver 54. 34 laps to go in Sonoma. Top 5, Shane Van Gisbergen, Chase Briscoe, Connor Zilich, Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Larson.
Russell, we see it, man.
Okay. Back here in Sonoma, we do our Xfinity fastest lap. Reddick had popped there. John Hunter Nemechek just circles in front of him, a 1:16.40. Toyota Racing onboard camera with Reddick, who's 4 laps down and had lost the championship lead until Hamlin had that contact turn 7, went for a ride. Marty reporting during commercial the splitter damage there has got him frustrated, and they're not making up any ground. Hamlin is 34th and now 6 points behind when you look at points as they run. Let's go down to Danielle.
Yeah, Adam, I just spoke with Tyler Reddick's team, and they said that Billy Scott told the spotter, don't even give Tyler lap times. Just let him go out there and run. As you mentioned, 4 laps down, just trying to salvage the day after a power steering issue earlier in the race. He is holding on to the points lead as they run 5 points ahead of Denny Hamlin, Marty.
Danielle, 31 to go here at Sonoma. Chase Elliott pitting for what should be the final time for the Hendrick Motorsports car. After that spin, Alan Gustafson, Steve, told Chase, we're going to flip our strategy here, pit on the early side of the window. I expect the leaders to be about 5 or 6 more laps before they come to pit road.
Okay, so what is Alan hoping for here? In a perfect world, a caution right now. A caution anytime before the leaders come to pit road, because the 9 can then stay on the racetrack and cycle all the way back. We talk about flipping the stages. Well, this is old school, trying to flip a caution. Alan trying to be one of the first cars to pit road. He know older tires may hurt him later in the race, but that spin cost him track position, and much as expected, the 9 has now brought a few other cars to pit road, the 48 of Bowman included, Danielle.
Another 4-tire change here for Alex Bowman, and the 48 came in 15th, trying to have a decent day here. Talked to Alex earlier. Looks like, whoop, little contact there coming out possibly, guys.
Scheduled green flag pit stops here. Could be the final stops of the day. Certainly can get home from here. A caution late could change things. Let's go down to Marty.
I tell you, Adam, it was a pretty decent day for Joey Logano pace-wise, in the top 15 until that spin a moment ago. So Paul Wolfe opting for the same thing Alan Gustafson did just a moment ago, to pit here on the early side of the window for what should be the final stops at Sonoma.
And much like you said, Dale, SVG's last 2 laps out of the 97, the fastest we have seen. I think he has been given the go-ahead to try to stretch those legs a little bit before we come to pit road.
Saw it late in stage 2. It's like you snap the fingers and there he goes.
Yeah, the last lap.
Good laps the last few.
There you go.
Yeah, there you the last couple laps have been awesome.
The interesting thing will be if the 19 or the 88 try to come a lap before the 97 and get in front of them.
Ryan Preece is in. Here he comes, Shannon.
Yeah, guys, Ryan Preece coming down pit road right now. He knew that the in-season challenge would be a matchup because of Shane Van Gisbergen. He really has had some fun with it this week, just on social media and between the two of them. But you see him going to work right now on that car. AJ Allmendinger also on pit road right now. We've talked about the struggles that he's had all race long, not only with the handling of the car, but there was some miscommunication before stage 2. The team forgot to tell him when he was coming to the choose zone, so he found himself all the way back in 20th. 4 tires and fuel for AJ. Needs to free that car up a little bit and drop some air pressure.
Well, when we talk about the in-season challenge, this is one of the first-round matchups I was excited about. AJ Allmendinger and Chase Briscoe. The Dinger pits. Briscoe coming now, and he's bringing third-place Connor Zilic with him.
Be interested to see who can beat who off pit road here. This is a valuable piece of real estate to be in second place.
Danielle.
Chase Briscoe in for service here. James Small likes his pace. Overall says the balance is good. Pit stop here. It'll be 4 tires down and away, Marty.
Career day for Connor Zilic so far. Can he bring it home, maybe with a win? Oh, a slow stop there for the 88. That's going to cost him just a little bit. Said he was too tight in the right-hander, so we'll see how much track position. You want it to happen under green, not under caution, don't you, Steve, for the 88. And Michael McDowell much better on the longer run for that 71, taking his service here with 28 to go as well.
Looked like Zilic stalled it to me. Looked like the stop was pretty good. They dropped the jack, the car lurched forward and stalled. Took a while to fire up. That's going to give control of the fresh tire race to the 19. On board with the 97. He's coming to pit road as well. So we can ride on board with the 97. He's going to run through turn 10 right here, the right-hander. Let's talk about this entry. You commit right at the box, but you have to hustle around this little cattle chute right here. Hustle around all the way to the yellow line. So he's going to try to go all the way around, get as much as he can, as much as he can, as much as he can. Pit road starts here. Now pit stop on the upper screen. The leader of cars who has pitted, the 19 of Briscoe on the bottom screen. We'll see where the 97 blends with the 19. This could be the race for the lead when everybody makes their stops. Marty, the 97 of SVG in front of you.
Yes, Steve, once he started to stretch his legs, as you mentioned to Junior a moment ago, he built that lead up to 7 seconds for Shane Van Gisbergen as he comes to pit road here. He's done his job. Now it's up to the pit crew. Said he was struggling with the fronts and the rears, and he felt like the last set of tires were the worst of the day. Hopefully they get a better one on here. We'll see where he cycles out now.
He's at the yellow line.
Exiting the pit lane. And here comes Briscoe across the start-finish line, the blend up the hill.
Oh, the 97 has it by 20, 25 car lengths. Those are those, good laps he ran. He had nearly a 2 1/4 second lead before the pit stop. It was about 1 second the whole run. He stretched it to 2 1/4, and for that reason, he gave himself that little bit of cushion to let the 19 come a lap earlier. Really good job by both the 97 and the 19. Now, what about the drivers? Track like the 5 of Larson, the 12 of Blaney. They can either A, come right now and stay on strategy with the leader, or B, run very long, which it looks like they are doing. So they feel like if we run maybe 9 or 10 more laps and the caution comes out, even though they'll lose track position, other cars will pit with them and the fresh tires will give them an advantage.
Yeah, that tire late in the game can be such a difference maker. And, we talk about that, and I go to last year when we had those cautions and some drivers came down, made something of it, even though they had to give up the track position. Let's go back to that cycle of pit stops. And the hiccup for Connor Zilic as he made his exit.
I just stalled it. Luckily, the car refired pretty quickly. He was able to drive away.
And not always that lucky. Sometimes these things get like an electronic cycle in the ECU and you sit there helpless.
Zilic is scored in the 15th position, but he is third in line of those drivers that have made a pit stop. Now we go to Ty Gibbs. He still needs to come to pit road, but the climb continues. He's now second behind race leader Kyle Larson.
Big moment for the 12 right there that lets the 5 get around, and now the 12 of Blaney has lost a spot to the 54 as well as they continue to stay on the racetrack. I like this mostly for Gibbs because of the speed they have in the car. If they stay out on the racetrack, come to pit road, caution comes out, they get a tire advantage once we gather the field back up. He's got maybe arguably the best car here. Danielle.
Christopher Bell coming in for his scheduled stop here, guys. 4 tires. Bell seems very happy with the race car. Pretty quiet on the radio. Adam Stevens happy as well.
Starting to see these drivers inside the top 10 give up position, come down, get their scheduled green flag stop.
What a drive by Bell with that injured left wrist. Let's go back to Gibbs. The other thing I love about the strategy with Gibbs, to your point, Dale, it's Larson and Blaney that he's running in those chase standings. So they're right on the racetrack around him. So I think that helps the 54 think confidence in what they're doing. The 11 of Hamlin on pit road, Marty.
Yeah, Denny was very vocal on the radio after that spin on the track, said they have some splitter damage. Car has just really not been the same for Denny Hamlin since that moment, but they had incredible speed up to that point. Hamlin pitting for the final time here with 25 to go.
See where he rejoins. Going to be outside the top 25. Ty Dillon, the man he's facing in the opening round of the in-season challenge, scored 24th right now. As Larson comes in, Ty Gibbs does the same. Scheduled green flag pit stops, 25 laps to go, Danielle.
And you see Cliff Daniels part of the pit stops here too. The crew chief comes down, Kyle Larson.
Ty Gibbs going to get his stop. In front of you, Shannon.
Yeah, taking a look at that 54. No mistakes was the word over the radio as Ty Gibbs pulls that 54 into the pit box. Just a little bit tight, guys, but he said leave it alone because he was back in that traffic. We've also got Ryan Blaney, who's down here on pit road. His crew chief told me that the key was to get out of the regular season third in points. You talked about him racing around the guys that he is racing for that. They want to average 30 points per race, and he has been running in the top 3 pretty much all day.
We all stood up as that cycle of stops happened just to watch Shane Van Gisbergen flash by. And as those drivers were exiting, SVG able to cruise through. He's now third on the board with Byron and Chastain still needing to make their stop. Barry also going to have to make a pit stop. He's inside the top 5. Austin Hill yet to make his stop. Here comes Byron now.
Byron will give the lead back to Chastain unless he chooses to chase the 24 on pit road. That'll cycle the 97 up to second. You see the map in the upper left as we see the 24 coming down pit road, the 97 heading into turn 11.
William Byron heading your way, Shannon.
Yeah, he's a guy who definitely knows how to get it done on the road courses, having wins under his belt in the Cup Series. Guys, he has been pretty good in this race. He just said that the car was not turning, a little bit too tight, but he said once it got going, it was very good. The 24 is down and away.
Got a couple more cars still yet to come to pit road. But SVG's clearly in front over Briscoe. Chastain still with the lead. You see Van Gisbergen off in the distance there.
Trackhouse has been 1-2 on several occasions today. Multiple different combinations up there. Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zilic. And now it's Chastain in front of SVG, but as Dale said, the one going to have to make a pit stop. And as you look at our pylon, there he goes now. Anybody that's pitted in the 80s, good to go. Anybody in the 50s or 60s, still going to make one more pit stop.
And I will tell you, the 19 of Briscoe has outrun SVG by almost a half a second the last 2 laps. There's SVG right there, and you're going to see the 19 only 25, 30 car lengths behind.
But the question is, you know, SVG continuing to control that gap.
Let's cover the Chastain pit stop, Shannon.
Yeah, Ross Chastain, he put together a really solid finish last week at San Diego on 7. Said the handling is just a little bit off on this #1 car, but he has had a pretty solid day so far in #1.
You referenced last week, back-to-back top 10s for the driver from Florida. First time he'd been in the top 10 since Talladega. He pulls back out as his teammate reclaims the top spot. Shane Van Gisbergen with field in tow, and he's got a 1.6 second advantage over Chase Briscoe. Zilic, Larson, Gibbs, the top 5 in Sonoma with 22 laps remaining on TNT. 20 laps to go for Sonoma, California. Let's do our Credit One Bank ones to watch. Lead us off, Dale.
Yeah, I'm watching this 88 car, Connor Zillage. You know, this young man's had a tough rookie season, but he's sitting here right now with an opportunity to run in the top 3, if not even better than that. This would be, can you believe it, his first career top 10 finish in the Cup Series if he can hold on today.
Well, how about pole sitter, the 23-year-old Ty Gibbs got that first career win back at Bristol in the spring. He won both stages. We just thought that would eliminate him from contention, but here he is 5th, climbing up the ranks, doing a really nice job behind the wheel of the 54. With 19 laps to go, I think there's a few positions still in front available.
I'm going to go with his teammate, the guy that was a runner-up here a year ago, and that's Chase Briscoe. Just been outstanding today, running second in this race. And if he's able to hang there, it would match his best finish of the year from Atlanta. But he's thinking more. You know, I go to last year with Briscoe, and we had some of those late cautions, and he really pushed Shane Van Gisbergen. And so you feel like Briscoe's a guy that's got something for him here today late. And, really having a good afternoon in that 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah, he's kept this gap here to SVG at a flat second for a while now. And SVG just knows a lot of laps left. 19 laps at this racetrack, that might as well be 100 laps somewhere else. It's a long way to go. You're trying to stretch out the tire life in this car, and this will be the longest that they've went all day long. Got a great little battle happening for 3rd and 4th, but we're going to jump on board the 17 of Chris Buescher right here. He's trying to work behind the 4 of Noah Gragson.
Little Trimble on board. Coming down toward turn 10 and the drive over to turn 11.
Buescher struggled today. Actually ran the 3rd best lap on the racetrack that last time back in 29th. And this is the battle right now. I think the best one on the racetrack between Larson and Zillage. And Larson has taken it. Thought Zillage would be able to drive away from this 5 car because he held that track position during the pit cycle, but maybe a little bit of an tire advantage on the 5. It's only a lap, but let's take a look and see how this pass happened. Yeah, the braking zone of turn 11. Larson down in there, stays off the door of the 88. Good clean pass. Man, he was pretty far back to be able to make that move. I was really impressed. He didn't end up in the door of the 88 car.
Might have caught the 88 by surprise.
My goodness. Yeah, the 88 struggling a little bit in the braking zone, I guess. The balance of the car just doesn't look quite as good as the run before for Zillage. These are the moments, though, in this young man's career where he's got to kind of understand the big picture and soldier through it, you know? Not make a mistake here and spin yourself out or do anything to take yourself out of a decent day. Possible, too. He could be doing things like the veteran SVG and just trying to save the rear tires on that car for this long duration of the run.
You're one to watch. Ty Gibbs played the long game in the stages and really did a nice job collecting points, but Bell was on that same game plan, Steve, and here they are up to 6. Just I know we've said it, an impressive drive for this group.
I would say take the race winner out because that's the ultimate goal. Other than the race winner, this has been the best day for the 54 and the 20 if you threw the checker flag right now. Because points scored, it's not even going to be close. I mean, they have so many points in the stages. When you talk about this, you know, new points format, back to the chase format where we are stacking points each and every week, it's not just about top 5s and top 10s, it's what you did in the stages, and they were A+.
Absolutely. I think the 20 car has an opportunity, if they put this all together, to move themselves into the top 7 in points. If everything goes well, presenting themselves in the chase with an opportunity to race for a championship. Right now, currently, as they run 10th in points.
How about a little in-season challenge fun with 16 to go? Matched up into bracket, couple of drivers from Team Ford, Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski, 13th and 14th on track.
A little damage to the left front of the 2 car right there from some contact with Josh Berry earlier in the day, but probably keeping that left front tire at Goodyear really nice and cool. Probably doesn't handle well on the short run, but on the long run, probably helping out. Brad's done an awesome job today, coming from the back of the field. Everybody thinks that Brad's lost his touch or his fastball on the road courses, but veteran knows how to put a good day together.
And we keep talking about Bell, as we should, with a broken wrist, but let's just remind the fan who might have to be turning in a little later in the season that Brad Keselowski broke his femur this winter. Came back just a few weeks later to start the Daytona 500. He couldn't run the Clash at the Bowman Gray, right? This is a driver that's coming off a major injury as well. And when you talk about leg strength and the requirements, the road courses are the toughest. And here we are, back-to-back road courses, and Brad doing a really nice job. We look back at the front, SVG has a 1.7 second lead over Chase Briscoe. And you talk about saving those rear tires, you know, Dale? Well, we eavesdropped into the 19 radio. Look at the advisement from the crew.
Nice and smooth. Focus forward. Smooth inputs. Don't let him bait you. Just stay focused on those smooth inputs.
James Small, I love that. Don't let him. He knows SVG's so good that he's going to get a little bit closer in the windshield for you to overdrive it. He's saying ignore him. Normally we say ignore the mirror. Hit your marks. He's saying literally ignore your windshield. Run your pace. We know this will be the longest run on a set of Goodyear tires all day long. Do what you do, and it's either going to be enough or not, but you are easily over Larson. I like that coaching.
Yeah, I think you can get confused into thinking you're actually running a guy down when he's allowing it to happen, right? And then you start pushing harder and harder and making mistakes, actually making your tires mad.
He's like the guy at the bar drinking water, and you're thinking you go drink for drink with the guy. Next thing you know, you can't stand up.
Good battle for third there in between Larson, Zilich, and Gibbs. SVG out front with 14 remaining. This July 4th, The Fight debuts on TNT with 2 World Championship bouts on one iconic night. Coverage begins 7 Eastern on TNT and DAZN. Brad Keselowski able to slide by Austin Cindric. A lot on the line here.
Yeah, late dive bomb down into turn 11, and I don't think that made Cindric very happy. Felt like it. Look there. And then I think Cindric went after him at the top of turn 2.
And missed.
And missed, yeah.
I say a lot on the line. In-season challenge, we documented that. And those are 2 drivers fighting right around the chase cut line. There's another battle for position. Ty Gibbs going after Zilich for 4th. The incredible run continues for the 54.
Zilich just lets him go. I mean, it's not much to do there with the 54. So much faster all day long. And you know, like Zilich, he's either saving hard, trying to protect the rear tires on this car for this long run to the finish, or he's struggling a little bit with the balance in this particular set of tires.
You think there's any chance he's just kind of gremlins over those DNFs are coming in and he wants to just get this thing to the finish? Like, man, I would love to see a checkered flag.
He's a competitor. young kid is going to push hard if the car can do it. I just feel like this set of tires, for whatever reason, the 88 is just not quite as strong as it was the run before, but we've known the 54 is just outstanding. Marty has more on the 10 car. Ty Dillon.
I was about to do a report about how Ty Dillon was going to knock off Denny Hamlin once again. Dillon a moment ago was running in the top 20 and just started losing power steering. Hamlin now only a couple of spots behind Ty Dillon. Can he hang on for these final 12 laps and for the second straight year have this Colic team knock off Denny Hamlin?
If you're Denny Hamlin, it's about survive and advance, and we'll see if he can get them. There you see the difference between those two, 28th to 31st, and a spot in the round of 16 on the line when you talk about the in-season challenge.
And Denny knows who he's up against because they did a joint press conference. They joined us in the pre-race. He's going to see that 10 car up the road. Going to be a little shot of adrenaline.
Also another position and another point or two for Denny. He's only 3 back to Reddick as they run in the season points.
8 races to go to the chase when we wrap things here today. Talked a little bit about Alex Bowman, driver 48, 10th with 10 laps to go, Danielle.
Adam, we have a potential bracket buster happening. Right now, Alex Bowman running 10th. Tyler Reddick is running last in 36. Tyler Reddick entered the in-season bracket challenge today as a #1 seed. Alex Bowman is a 32nd seed. I don't know about you guys, but I had Tyler Reddick going all the way to the finals. Doesn't look like, with 11 laps to go, that could happen. A big upset here with the 48.
Yeah, this team had back-to-back third-place finishes at Texas and Talladega, the 48 group. Felt like they were starting to catch their stride after Bowman had missed those races, but the last month or so have not produced a lot of fruit. Impressive today inside the top 10 and an opportunity to advance on to round 2 in the in-season challenge.
And this 19 car is inside of 3/4 of a second behind. I think that's a little bit too close.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know about SVG managing the gap. He's talked about having, he is absolutely doing that, saving his rear tires, saving his car. But at what point does he start to need to run a little bit harder? Marty, what you got?
Oh, Dale, no question. Chase Briscoe's cutting into that lead for SVG with 10 to go. A moment ago, they kind of gave SVG a bigger picture of the top 5. He said, I don't care about anyone but the 19. I'm trying to manage my stuff.
It's exactly what happened last year. Briscoe pushing the 97 towards the end of the race. Briscoe's so good in practice, had a lot of speed. Second in 10 lap average, second in 15 lap average. Gibbs cars have been fast all year long. He's taken advantage. Finally, his opportunity. He's watched his teammates do this all year long, and finally, Briscoe with a shot to win today.
What about Ty Gibbs running fourth, Shannon?
Yeah, Adam, from the very start of this race, the message has been just race your own race. Well, now, as the laps are clicking down, they, of course, are looking at that 97. Here's what Ty Gibbs and his crew just said on the radio.
Keep doing what you're doing. 19 is running the 97 down. He's starting to struggle with some drive, too. What do you want me to do? I need you to push, but it needs to last 10 laps.
Ty Gibbs has had such a fast car all day long, of course, winning stage 1, stage 2, starting way back in 20th at the beginning of each of those stages, and now he has just a couple of spots to gain in order to try to get up there and get that 97.
And I think some of the question mark for these drivers is with 9 laps to go, what am I trying to do? Am I saving tire for the long run? If the caution comes out, are we pitting or are we not? Because, some of the strategy might be, hey, we can't run the 97 down from 7 seconds back, so if we cool our rear tires and the caution comes out, maybe we can stay out on those tires. A lot has changed in the world of road course racing with this reduced downforce, increased power, and this tire that does lose grip. It's not just a set it and forget it type pit strategy anymore. When you leave pit road for what you think is the last time for fuel, you have to continue to ask yourself, if we have a caution now, should we come to pit road? And with this many cars in the lead lap, it's a complicated question.
Well, I was going to say, if you're a crew chief, it's a little bit like match play in golf. You have to prepare on your opponent always making a putt, so you know the pressure could be on at any time.
Last lap on the racetrack, SVG runs a half a second faster than Briscoe in the 19, and you see the gap extended. You can almost watch the 97's line off of turn 4 to understand how hard he's pushing. And these guys right here, Cindric and Keselowski, continue to push each other around.
Talked about the problems for Ty Dillon. He's faded to 34th. Hamlin in front of him now as you continue to watch the pylon, and the leaders coming back to 7 laps to go.
I was asking SVG why he loves this racetrack so much, and he mentioned a lot of different things. The one thing that stood out is his line in turn 4. He's like, I like to run way wider over the curb on the outside in the exit of 4 than a lot of guys do. They just don't, for whatever reason, use as much racetrack, and he carries a ton of momentum there and speed into turn 7. So when he runs hard, you see him take that wider exit out of 4. When he's underdriving the car, it's a little more shallow.
What about the 97 right now, Marty?
Boy, Adam, for the layup that everybody thought today would be for Shane Van Gisbergen, he has worked this afternoon behind the wheel of that Trackhouse Chevy. He just told Stephen Doran a moment ago, we are terrible. I'm trying to hang on here with 7 laps to go, but that lead just keeps getting cut by the 19.
Well, that information, if you hear it on the 97, Marty, and you're James Small, that is like an adrenaline, a shot of adrenaline to the 19. I'm letting him know. I know you see him struggling. We believe it's for real. We're hearing on the radio as well. Coming at 6 laps to go. I've been coaching you to save rear tires. Go get them. It's time to push.
A little bit of traffic up here in front of him. We haven't had traffic all day long for SVG to have to deal with, and the 10 of Dillon gets out of the way.
Next car they'll see, Suarez, who won here 2022. 6 laps remaining for Van Gisbergen.
A little bit of issue right there for the 19, trying to get around the 10. High-speed section of the racetrack cost him a couple of tenths.
What's the latest on Briscoe, Danielle?
Well, SVG may not be happy with his car, but James Small is very happy with Chase Briscoe, the job he's doing and how the car's running. He said, stay focused, stay locked in, don't let the rabbit get any bigger, keep managing those inputs. Nice and straight here, you're doing a great job.
There's history on the line as well. Shane Van Gisbergen, 7 career wins, all coming in road course competition. A win today gets him his 8th, and he would tie Tony Stewart for 2nd on the all-time wins list when you talk about Cup victories on the road.
The 7 of Suarez is kind of a tough pass here, guys. I think this is going to create some issues, especially in these high-speed corners. If SVG can't make this happen quickly, he's going to start to suffer a little bit of grip loss. That's going to back him up to the 19.
And it could go away very quickly. Just the last time through turn 11, William Byron goes to turn inside his teammate Bowman and completely overcooks. Bowman thankful there was an escape plan, turned back underneath the 24. But that issue for the 24, every driver right now, the oldest tires, the warmest brakes, just a little bit of exhaustion from the driver. They're all going to fight this for the last 5 laps.
Suarez had a really tough day. He's trying to survive. Came in here 8th in the points, so I mean it's not like him to really lay over, even for SVG and these guys that are racing for the win. And you see the gap to SVG not getting much smaller. SVG is not running down this 7 car, continuing to struggle, and the 19's getting closer and closer.
And now the battle for 3rd, Ty Gibbs right there with Larson.
As impressive as the 97 is, Gibbs and Bell, you know, this is a race that I would love to just sit down and bench race with them about. All the passes, everything they've had to do.
The patience.
Man.
There goes Gibbs.
The cars they've been given and the job they're doing behind the wheel, it's a heck of a combination.
Yeah, with 4 laps to go. Right there, heading up to turn 1. I think Larson understands that.
Oh, the 19. Totally just cooked it into turn 1.
He's sitting there with an opportunity, and he knows it because SVG's struggling here to catch the 7, and SVG's losing performance in the car. So the 19 sees this out his windshield, and he's pushing and pushing harder, just asking a little bit too much. But it's not over yet. A lot of laps left.
All week long, that entrance into turn 1 has been so difficult. Normally, it's a pretty straightforward, but look at the 19. I thought he got loose, but it looks like he just went in there and it kind of went straight. Damage the same, about a second lost.
Long green flag run, tires wearing out, mental concentration maybe starting to fade. Just a lot to manage for these drivers. Looking back through the top 10, some really good stories there. We've told today of Zilich, Ryan Blaney, top 10 again. Michael McDowell having a good afternoon for Team Spire. Ryan Priest doing what he needs to do. And big picture, we've told the stories.
Nice and smooth. You got 4.1 back to the 54.
3 laps to go. The 19 gained about 3 tenths of that second that he lost, Steve, up the hill. He sees the 97 struggling. It's hard for us from this vantage point, seeing the 97 slipping. The 19 behind the wheel can see all of the problems that SVG is dealing with. He is running him down quickly, almost a half a second in the last half a lap. This is going to be a tough job for SVG. He's going to have to be perfect.
Look at how much he gains just in the braking zone.
Again, going through these S's, through these high-speed corners behind the lap traffic. It's going to be a challenge for the 97. SVG's so good through the S's, gains a couple of tenths back.
Talk about SVG trying to match Tony Stewart for second on the all-time wins list when it comes to road course victories. Tony Stewart was Chase Briscoe's hero growing up, and now he's driving the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing and trying to run down SVG 2 laps to go at Sonoma.
Hard to believe it, but Briscoe's strongest part of the racetrack is in the braking zones. You'd think that'd be SVG's strength. Now up the hill, SVG with a little traffic in front. Does the 51 lay over and get out of the way of the leaders? He's going to race down into the corner. That's going to slow SVG up. It's not a good situation. Can SVG make the pass in the braking zone of 4? Not able to do it. Has to follow the 51 through into the braking zone. Briscoe with a much easier path now. Look at the braking the 19 has into turn 7.
Big charge for Chase Briscoe. Through the S's.
The issue is, as close as the 19 gets to the 97, he then starts to struggle with aero. He has no tire left. Neither one of these cars have any tire left. They're both struggling, hanging on, just trying to stay on the asphalt as they come out of turn 10. 19 just trying to get close in the braking zone. It's incredible how much he gains on SVG into turn 11.
Back to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Van Gisbergen in front of Briscoe.
SVG cannot allow the 19 to have an opportunity in the 11. That is what Briscoe is trying to do this entire lap, is close the gap all the way back to the end of the lap.
And if you're SVG, I think you believe it's going to be all about the S's. You're the best changing direction, even with a car that's fading. You got to get down into this braking zone. This is the first opportunity that the 19 will be able to collect and get a run on you. Success so far. For now, the 97, it's turn 7, and hit your marks down the S's.
The 19's right there. He wants to be able to keep this distance all the way through the S's, but SVG needs a little bit more of a buffer so that Briscoe can't reach him in the braking zone.
We always talk about the importance of turn 10, setting up that run and that opportunity at turn 11.
Briscoe's there. He's closing the gap. Oh,
turn 10 to 11, 19 is dancing. Here's Shane Van Gisbergen into the hairpin. Briscoe charges in, can't make the pass. We're racing in wine country, and Shane Van Gisbergen is the toast of the town. He wins again at Sonoma. 8 wins in 68 starts. And now matching Tony Stewart for second on the all-time wins list when you talk about road course victories at NASCAR's top level. One behind Jeff Gordon, who's the best all-time when you talk about taking checkered flags in this format.
That was bad to the bone from both of those race car drivers. Shane for being able to control this car and make something out of those last 10 laps. And how about Briscoe, the incredible determination and drive to take it to one of the best in the field those last couple of corners. Shane earned it. Briscoe made him earn it. Hey, Shane's right. He says, you call me the favorite, but these guys can come out here any given day and beat me at these road courses. Briscoe almost proved that today.
He was frustrated last week. He was able to put that behind him and come out and deliver today. He's won 7 of the last 9 on road courses. He is a stud, and here's how it went down final lap.
They both just buried it into the final corner. And Briscoe gave it all he had. I mean, he just needed one more lap to have a little bit better of an opportunity here in 11, but incredible. Really, really impressive from both.
1-2 last year, 1-2 this year at Sonoma for Van Gisbergen and Briscoe. Gibbs ends up 3rd, Bell 5th. Connor Zilisch with his first career top 10 comes home 7th today. Denny Hamlin was 26th, Tyler Reddick 36th. Hamlin a 2-point advantage with 8 to go in the chase. What a ride it's been for that group. Does he save the tire to be good on the long run, or so he can do that? That is incredible. What a celebration for Shane Van Gisbergen. Second win of the year. Had that incredible run at Watkins Glen. Leads 74 laps here today and cashes in one more time for Team Trackhouse.
Got the ball. Oh, he's got the ball.
And now he's going to sign the rugby ball. And for the second day in a row, give it a boot. And the wrestling match has begun. Fumble. Here's Shannon Spake.
Yeah, I was wondering if your legs had anything left to kick that ball. Is the victory a little bit sweeter when you were working your butt off inside the race car to get it?
I mean, yeah, what a day. We were really bad yesterday, and these guys did an amazing job turning this car into a winner. And the 19 was coming. He was really, really good, and I ran out at the end. But thank you to Red Bull, Trackhouse, Chevy. Pretty special to make up for last week, too.
Talk about last week. You don't get do-overs in racing, but this is about as close as you get. How much did you bring the fire and even the anger, we saw that, Shane, into the race today?
No, I was back to normal by the weekend, but yeah, I was certainly pissed at the start of the week, but this well and truly makes up for it. Sharing it with these guys, and you know, they went through it at the start of the week, and pretty special to win.
Those final laps, we heard you on the radio, you were hanging on. Were those some of the toughest laps that you've raced in one of your wins?
Yeah, we had these shit boxes come out in front, and they were wobbling all over the track and putting dust, and I just kept struggling, you know, and Chase was just really, really good. So, yeah, a couple more laps, we would have had some problems.
I know it's about the here and now and celebrating this victory, but the big picture is making the chase. You're 14th in the points, 36th above that line. Is this enough momentum to get you to the postseason?
I mean, it certainly helps, but yeah, I need to really step it up on the ovals, and we all do. So, but yeah, it certainly helps us, but this is an oval championship, and I need to keep getting better at them.
Happy with that range on the kick?
I almost made it. I'll try again next year.
Congratulations, Shane Van Gisbergen, king of the road course, takes his crown once again.
He knows his place in victory lane. Been really good here and goes back-to-back, leading 74 laps this afternoon, taking the checkered flag. Shannon referenced the points. SVG up to 14th. Hamlin now P1.
Yeah, look at all the movement. You talk Hamlin on the left side. Ty Gibbs also jumps Larson, Hocevar, Bell. The recovery has begun. Racing injured, back to 10th.
Yeah, tough day for Suarez. Loses a spot back to 9th, and a lot of shuffling around. And look at that cut line. Just so many cars, really tight in the points there on the right side of the screen. And Shane keeps that 97 in the top 16. It'll be interesting to see how he does in the ovals the rest of the way to go.
8 races to the chase. It's going to get better and better. Next step, Chicagoland Speedway next Sunday evening. Much more reaction coming from Sonoma, California, as SVG wins it again. Marty Smith and our NASCAR Nation crew hanging on and ready to take over when we return